Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mama Genius podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. Let's dive into it. If you're this mom, I double check the doors every night. I set an alarm. I do everything right. But deep down, I'm still worried. What if something happens when I wasn't home? I never used to think about security, but when I saw a school lockdown on the news and thought, what if that was my kid? What if I couldn't get to them? I want to feel confident. I want to know that my kids are safe, not just hope they are. That's why I had to hear what today's guest, Anna Reger, had to say. She gets it. She's a mom, an entrepreneur, and the creator of a simple, powerful way to help protect your family without fear, overwhelm, and confusing tech. Let's dive right in. Maybe. Mamas, welcome to the Mama Genius podcast, where real stories spark real transformations for moms ready to bring their visions to life. I'm Michelle DeKaiser, a mom of three, entrepreneur, and your biggest cheerleader as you navigate motherhood and your calling. If you've ever felt pulled to create something bigger, whether it's a business, a book, or a movement, but also felt the weight of daily life slowing you down, you are not alone. In just 15 minutes, we'll dive into powerful insights, strategies, and real stories for women just like you, because you don't have to build your dreams alone. Let's bring your visions to life, starting right now. Anna Reger is a serial entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and CEO of FlipLok, a revolutionary security device designed to protect schools, homes, and businesses. With venture commercial real estate, business leadership, and security innovations, Anna's mission is to empower families, women, and communities with smart, reliable safety solutions. Welcome to the podcast, Anna. So excited to have you on today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle, for having me.
I mean, it's such a concept of, we have that mama bear in us, that wanting to protect, wanting to be in control of everything. And I know we can't have control of all of it, but you do offer some of those concepts of how can we really take control of what we can. I'd love to dive into that with you today.
Yeah. So, we're moms. We send our kids away. It's our heart leaving outside of our body every day, right? We drop them off at school. We hope that they are safe, and, one day I was in my office and I got that alert, and I realized that I had no idea what my daughter was supposed to do during a lockdown situation. And she's the youngest of six. It was never an issue with any of the other ones because honestly, it never really hit home until there's a lockdown in our area, right? So in that, when we got home, I asked her, what do you do? And she had all these, I can run in the classroom with my teacher. I can get against the wall with my friends. My teacher can lock the door. My teacher turns off the light. That's great, honey. Can you lock the door? No, teacher does that. How do you know if the door is locked? Well, I don't, mommy. My teacher does that. Of course, she was in elementary at the time. And then what do you do if your teacher is not with you? Well, I was expecting a next step, which she did not have. And in that moment, we were both scared. And I said, oh no, mommy is not okay with this. So I started doing research and figured out that really there wasn't something that somebody my child's size could actually do and feel confident or even do in that moment. So I went into action and I decided to create FlipLok, something simple, easy to use. And all they have to do is flip it and get away from the door because, it's not just if the teacher goes into action, or the teacher's there, it's the teacher may freeze. Fight or flight is real. And as parents, we want to protect our kids. That's our number one thing, right? Or anybody's kid. And giving them the tools is the most important thing we can give them because it also gives them peace of mind. I mean, it gives us peace of mind, but also our kids are living in this situation that none of us really grew up in, right? Going to school worried about somebody coming in to hurt you wasn't something I ever thought about as a child.
I like how you came up with a simple solution for the instant situation of what could happen. Now, how do we also, though, reframe the mind a little bit with the idea of, I love how you put that, your heart's leaving as you send them off. How do we reframe that so that they're not always living in fear, though, and living in oh, what if this happens?
Right. So we just tell them, this is something that is in your classroom. If something were to happen, this is what you do. So when children are really smart, right, they want to know that they can do something. So you say, this is something that you do. if something like this happens, you don't have to do anything else. You just shut the door, you flip it, and you get away from the door, and you still go to the back of the classroom. There's not a huge reason to be scared, because now they know that their safety is being able to take into their own hands. So now you can actually do something, and you don't have to rely on somebody else to be able to do that. And I think gives them that sense of empowerment. And also, they know now that they don't need to worry about it, what they should do. They already have an action plan. And I think giving our kids the tools really is what we need to give our kids, because then they can go back to just being students. And the teachers also, they can go back to just being teachers, because that's a lot of responsibility. And our kids are smart enough to want to go, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. But if you take that out, I think that empowerment just really, really gives them that sense of power, and they feel like, oh, I know what I'm going to do, no matter how big they are. I've talked to 4-year-olds in schools that also understand what's going on, and they don't really know the whole concept, but they think somebody might try to hurt them, or they need to be able to lock that door, whatever that is. Then they understand, like, I know exactly what to do. And they're so excited to do it, and that just makes me so happy as a mom, because I say, if I ever get that call, God forbid, that, something happened in a school and we were able to secure every door, that means we sent a lot of babies home to their mamas that, may have not. And that for me is what drives me to keep pushing with FlipLok, and my bigger mission for standardization of active threat drills, much like a fire drill across the United States. We need to all know what to do, no matter where we are. I say that over and over again. The kids that were at the bowling alley, if there would have been a unique alert system like a fire, there would have been a unique color flash, and the kids that were deaf would have known that they were under attack. And if they don't do anything else, they can get low, and then the perpetrator can be handled, because it's just chaos and nobody knows who the person is, and nobody knows what to do, and people think it's not real, especially in big convention center situations. If there's an alert, people know, oh, we got to get down, we got to get kids. And even in that, right, that Dallas thing that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to my daughter. What do we send our kids in a buddy system to go to the room. What do you do if that happens and you're in a public space, right? Have we talked to our children about that? And so for me, it becomes bigger than what I originally thought. I need to have this conversation with her. How about, if you're not with mommy and something happens, what do? You need to try to stay out of the middle of the path, because you could get trampled, or you might want to go somewhere that you can hide, or, there's just so many things. Where are we going to meet? Do we have a safety word so that somebody doesn't try to pick her up in this chaos? Because these are things that are real.
Yeah, I agree with that too, so much, because you think about the definition of overwhelm. Overwhelm really comes with that concept of no plan. Mm-hmm. And so when we start to put that into plan, we'll talk about that more in just a moment. Are you a mompreneur who feels a fire to create something bigger, a business, a movement, a message, but you don't want to do it alone? That's why I've created the Mama Genius Hub, a space where your vision is nurtured, your voice is heard, and your dreams grow alongside a supportive community. Inside the hub, you'll get bite-sized insights and strategies in 15-minute sessions. A community of like-minded moms who truly get it. Support to bring your vision to life without burnout. If ready to build your business and impact while staying true to yourself, join us today at connectingmamas.com. Your calling matters. Let's grow it together. And so when we really come into that concept of overwhelm, and we can apply that to anything, but it really is that lack of plan of knowing what to do. And so by giving our kids a plan in place, or as you said, we're really empowering them. And so I know that you also have ways to transfer this to the home and things like that as well. So how does that play into the sense of like creating a plan inside the home that we can be aware of?
Right. So for example, my home has one on the front door. We have it on the back door, but we have it in the bedroom. My daughter has one in her bedroom. Let's say something happens, somebody gets into our home. We have a plan around what does she do? How does she secure her room? How do we, come out, with the safe words, with the secure things that we have to put in place. And even in that, like you said, securing your home with, extra layers of locks and extra layer of securities, but also having an action plan. Do your children know what to do if there's a fire? Do they know what to do if there's somebody in your home that shouldn't be? Do they know where to go? And do you have a plan? Because for me, everything is about planning, which is empowerment for our families and our kids.
No, I love that how you're saying planning. So what are some of the suggestions you have to start this conversation, especially if you have little kids or what, like, so where, if someone has absolutely no plan in place for fire, for anything, where would you suggest someone starts?
I would talk, with the little bitty ones, listen, mommy will never send anybody to pick you up unless they have our safe word. Nobody else is allowed to pick you up outside of, the normal family members that If somebody tries to pick you up, this is the code. And then, when we're at home, we have safety rules like school, we have safety things that we can follow. If there's a fire, if you think something's on fire, if you smell smoke, you need to get out. Don't hide in the closet. Don't go under the bed, because kids don't know. And parents we don't think about those things. Or if there's other people and you accidentally started a fire, you won't be in trouble. Talk to mommy, run and let everybody know and get out, because sometimes kids make an accident and then they hide. And it's been a lot of situations like that. But if our kids we're empowering them to not only know about what to do, but also that they won't get in trouble. They'll be comfortable coming to you, talking to you, because open communication is really the big key for managing children and having children. And I think building that line of communication with them, mommy always will support you in anything that happens. I just want you to know that you're safe to come to me. And my daughter and I, she's 13, and she's like, but mommy, I was scared to tell you. I said, okay, let's do a safe word. We have a safe word. And that means mommy won't get any kind of reaction. I'm just going to say, okay, you made a whatever mistake. Let's talk about it. But I want to know about it right away. And so we made a safe word. And then it's like basically, pizza. Okay, mom, we go and we talk, and it's, I'm not going to say anything, and I'm just going to be supportive and be that space for her to tell me what's concerning her.
I'm writing that down right now, because I was just thinking about the idea of creating safe words for different things. So I love how you have a safe word for the different actions plans itself, but also like for that type of communication, because like, that your daughter has that power to say, mama, pizza right now, just close your mouth. And it's so key, because it gives them the confidence to know that you're going to be there. And I love that concept of our job is to listen with understanding, not to judge, not to be, and that gives the permission to listen for understanding and to really be there for your kids and know that you'd rather know what's going on to see how you can help or how they can problem solve. But if you have that lack of communication, that's never going to happen.
Right. And then as they get older in teenage years, I'm now at the point where I'm number 6 child and they're all gone. And I'm like, okay, I have 5 summers left with my kid. How can I create this super tight connection with her where every child is different. You have 3, they're all super different. What works for one doesn't work for the other. So setting up that way that is best to communicate with them. I think asking them open-ended questions, not how was your day? Okay. So what did you do today? What did you learn? And then just opening and being curious with our children. And what I do is I try to set like an hour a day or 30 minutes a day or even a week where it's mommy daughter time. We just got time. If it's just hanging out, if it's just talking, that's what I try to do every day. It could be coming home from school when I pick her up from school or I drop her off. Right. But just having that has really been such a big change for our relationship, and even in the mornings, mom, you always come in, let's go. So now I go in her room and I hug her and I'm like, good morning. It's time to wake up. And I give her kisses all over her head. You got to get up, sweetheart. It's time. And then I give her an extra minute to cuddle. And then I go out. And as a teenager, we love those cuddles. We don't get those at all during the day.
I love that so much.
You get it when you get them an extra. Okay, 2 more minutes. You want 2 more minutes, baby? But we cuddle. I'm getting my cuddle in. She's getting her 2 minutes extra.
Well, unfortunately, we're running out of time. Tell everyone how they can get a hold of you and learn a little bit more about FlipLok or whatever else you want to share.
Yes. So you can go to FlipLok.com. You can contact me and reach out to me there. I have Instagram, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Anna Reger Official or FlipLok Official. And I'm always available. So if you have questions about your school or your children or your safety, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Now we're going to throw you backstage for 1 second while we do our takeaways, a little longer in a second, but so wasn't that powerful? So first of all, when we look at our takeaways, I love that idea how your heart is leaving outside, right? You're sending your heart off. And so she's giving us tools on how to do it. So when we look into, now we can take action when we go into step number 2 with looking at that FlipLok of how that can work and making that plan, because now we're putting things into place. Because like she said, fight or flight is real. And it could be the teacher in that. So we empower our kids to know the processes and the plan in place, they can release that from their heads. They can release the worries from their head. And so I love takeaway number 3 is let's let them be kids again. Let's let the teachers teach again, because we're putting those plans into place. And that gives us to takeaway number 4, which is really creating safe words with your kids. Really put that into action. Have a safe word for different plans. Have a safe word for pickup. Have safe words for how to do those things. And we're really about just being taking that overwhelm away by creating that plan. And that takes away takeaway number 5 is that open communication. And I love how she has that safe word for when your kids come to you, like time to be quiet, really, so we can listen for that understanding. Welcome back, Anna. We love your final takeaway.
Thank you. I think the final takeaway is just, we're moms, we're busy, but we definitely need to make that time for our children because they need us. And before you know it, they're going to be gone. And trust me, they go to college, but they never really come back. We don't get that time again. So time is our most valuable asset. Try to spend some of that with your children personally and directly.
Well, thank you so much, Anna, for being on here. And really, I love that. Take that value of that time with your kids and really ensuring that open communication and taking the overwhelm away with that plan. We'll see you on the next episode. That's a wrap for today's episode, Mama. I hope you found something in these 15 minutes that sparked action towards your dreams. Remember, your purpose matters, your dreams are valid, and you are not alone. If today's conversation spoke to you, come join us at the Mama Genius Hub, where you'll find support, strategy, and sisterhood to turn your calling into real impact. Let's grow this together at connectingmamas.com. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. If this resonates with you, share it with another mom here who needs to hear this. We'll see you next time.